As a child, we all long for a hero. As a society as a whole, we search for that leader that can be our hero. But as we mature and as we grow, it dawned on us that the hero is inside every one of us. And in the world's social media, we all start at 0. And slowly we search deep within ourselves to find who we are. And we have that moment of truth where we embrace that the hero that we've been searching for has been there all along. It is living deep inside of every one of us. And we start embracing that journey and we become that hero that we search for.
Hello, everybody on LinkedIn and on YouTube and maybe even across Facebook. We are live here today, Zero to Hero, episode 7. And I have Miss Darlene Paul. Okay, you're going to have to help me with your last name again.
Pawelkiewicz.
Okay, Pawelkiewicz. Sorry about that.
No problem.
We are excited to have her on here, and I'm excited to get to know more about her. She has spent the last 13 years working for the, I believe it's the YMCA.
Yes.
And so I am so excited, Darlene, just to hear about your experiences, because I know that that's probably given you many, many stories that you could tell and experiences that you've had with developing people, with project management, and just building relationships with others and serving. And so I am so excited to get to know you today. So go ahead. I'm going to let you, I did a little bit of mini introduction there because I'm just excited to have you. I got a little ahead here, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
Well, I was born in a small community in the middle of Wisconsin, about 30 minutes from Lambeau Field where the Green Bay Packers play, if anybody's heard of the Green Bay Packers. My parents were raised on farms, and so I grew up about an hour and 15 minutes from my grandparents, and so I was able to spend a lot of time up with my grandparents. So I experienced the farm life, I experienced the city life, and I think that that combination has really made me who I am. I married my high school sweetheart and my best friend. So I'm a mom, a wife. We have 2 adult children, and I have 3 grandsons that live 3 miles from us, and I have a granddaughter that lives in Alabama. So I think, too, one of the most obvious things about me that most people would recognize right away is that I'm pretty outgoing. I'm an extrovert. I really am passionate about people, getting to know people, building relationships with them. I enjoy a lot of things. I kind of sometimes think of myself as a Jill of all trades in the sense that I'm as comfortable in the kitchen and sewing as I am out on the roof, shingling, doing ceramic tile floors. I just really like to try a lot of things. I'm very active physically. This summer has been great as far as a lot of biking and walking. I miss the gym, but not ready to go back there yet. I guess the other thing is my husband and I both have done a lot of volunteering in our community, in our church. My husband was an exchange student in Australia during his junior year of high school. And I was on a short-term exchange program in Germany in my junior year of high school. We have hosted 5 exchange students over the years, and it's been wonderful fun. Just really getting to know more about people from other cultures and sharing Wisconsin with them, sharing some American experiences. I can say that most of them, if not all of them, found that the United States was a lot different than they had thought it would be.
That is amazing. That was actually going to be kind of my first question for you, is giving me an elevator pitch about who Darlene is. And you kind of just hit that out of the ballpark already. You pretty much gave your elevator pitch right there, and it was beautifully done.
Thank you.
So yeah, that is very fascinating. So it sounds like you have a very full scope of life. And yes, I'm with you on the whole gym part. My husband and I, we try to stay healthy, and that's something I'm definitely working on, but we're trying to stay far away from the gym. Yes.
For good reason.
There is a good reason for that. Yes, absolutely. So, tell me more about what you have done as far as being involved with the YMCA in your career in the past, just the experiences that you've had. Is there anything that just really sticks out to you, maybe a monumental experience that you just remember engaging with somebody?
Well, like you said, there have been so many. We joined the Y shortly after we got married, so I've been a member of the Y for a long time, so engaging with people just in that capacity. But as the Arts and Humanities coordinator, I had the opportunity to expand programs, and that was really wonderful. We had a collaboration with NAMI at one point where we offered individual classes to sixth graders through high school to choose an art of their choice. And, it could be dance, any type of the arts that we offered, which would be pottery, painting. We had music, creative writing, and they could choose that one. And then we would have an instructor that would work with them individually for a 14-week period. And it just really helped them to gain confidence. A lot of them had, maybe they were struggling with depression or relationships or any number of things, came from single homes and just needed a little more stability. We were able to provide that for them. So that was one really cool thing. And the other thing that I really, really enjoyed was we had a Live Strong program at RY. I don't think it's currently going on right now because of, the social distancing piece.
Right.
But, they were very active in all of other departments as far as the health and fitness. And at one of the staff meetings, I met two of the artful expression instructors. And we got to talk, and I said, hey, you've been trying to visit all of the different departments. You haven't come down by us. And they were, well, where do you work? And I said, well, I work in the Arts and Humanities department. So we collaborated together, and in their 12-week program, they would come down one session and meet in the art department, and we would talk about art in the healing process. I did a bunch of research so I could kind of share that with them, and gave them an experience to try a little pottery project, and just really got to know them. And that to me was probably one of the most rewarding experiences that I had there.
That is amazing. I love that, because that's really what I think that's really what the Y is about. And I can tell that's what you're about as a person, just really serving others and finding the way that you can touch others' lives and make a difference. And that's just such a great thing. It's such a great thing for organizations to take part in. It's such a great thing, for you as a person to get to be a part of that. I can tell that that's also your heart as well. And so tell me about, in all of those experiences, the importance of relationship and building relationship with those that you worked with those that you were reaching out to, what effect did that have for you? Like, what's a level of importance as far as relationship building?
Well, I think that I think we're made for community and relationships. We're relational people. And so I think this particular period in time has been very challenging for most people, if not all people, because of the social distancing and lacking connections and stuff. Honestly, truly, I've felt like the Y was my second home. It was where I would go to work out. It was where I would interact with people. A lot of the people that I've gotten to know through the Y, have become friends. Working with the staff, everyone has, a real heart for the community. And I think that's where I am too. Again, I just really believe that we are created to be in community with one another and building each other up and forming relationships.
Absolutely. So what has been your experience as far as like developing other people? I know that you had a leadership role there in coordinating, and even throughout your business career, what has been something significant that really sticks out to you as far as getting to take someone under your wing and really develop them as a person and also in their role?
I can easily think of my music staff. I had several of them that were fresh out of college, very gifted musicians, but hadn't really had a lot of experience in the job world. And so they were a little bit out of their comfort zone as far as, you know, going and introducing themselves to the students and the parents and teaching their lessons. And so, you know, I gave them the best orientation that I could. I always had them job shadow with a current music instructor, and more than one usually, because as I always told them, we all have different styles and we can learn from each other. And so I think that was really beneficial for them. And there was one person in particular that I'm thinking of who had some rather negative experiences in some previous jobs and just was really feeling insecure about it, and spent a lot of time with her, just invite her into my office, or I would go into the music studio before classes and see how she was doing, and is there anything I can do to help you? What do you need? I'm just really trying to build people up, help them to gain courage and confidence and be the best that they could be. They were the experts in music, not me. I mean, I'm musical, but not like, you know, super talented, gifted musicians. So that to me was, you know, just really trying to create an opportunity for them to feel confident, to learn, to develop, and just to use their talents and share those with their students.
I love that. That's perfectly spoken. I think that that's really what leadership is all about. And so, you know, that's the way you described it really exemplifies what a leader should be. You know, even if you don't have experience in that area, you're able to encourage others to shine and be what they're supposed to be and to show their skill sets and things like that. So this is an interesting question, and actually one of my favorite, no matter across every industry, no matter which person I talk to, you know, everybody has some form of a social media journey. And so please tell us, Darlene, about your social media journey, how that started out and where you're at today, whatever that looks like for you.
Well, it's kind of funny because I'm obviously not in my 20s or 30s. So technology, I work hard to keep up with technology. My first experience was, of course, with Facebook. That I think is the first social media that came out around since I've been a child.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't necessarily a positive experience, in that my daughter and my husband had a Facebook account before I did.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when my daughter became pregnant with her twins and she told us she was going to have twins, I went over to the backyard neighbor to share that with them. I was so excited, and they already knew. And I thought, how did you find out? Well, Lindsay posted it on Facebook. And I'm like, it just kind of felt like it took away some of the excitement and the enthusiasm of being able to tell things to other people, because, you know, they just had such access to their to knowledge and knowing about people. So that went on for a little bit, several years, that she had her account and my husband had his, and he would sit and he would be laughing at different things and looking at pictures, and I'm like, I want to see. He said, he teased me a little bit, and he said, well, if you really want to see so bad, you should get your own Facebook account. So I decided to go ahead and do that. For one, I didn't want to be left behind. I knew that social media was becoming the thing, and I really want to keep up with what's going on in the world. And again, with the technology. So I started a Facebook account, and that was my first social media experience. Then before I got my job at the Y, I went to a career building seminar conference because I was without a job at that time. And they said, you need a LinkedIn account. LinkedIn account, and why do I need that? I created a LinkedIn account, but it just sat there dormant because I got my job then at the Y, and I really didn't see any use for it. But this last March, when I was put on furlough, LinkedIn became very important to me. it was a way to be able to still communicate with people, find out what's going on in the business world, really learn from other people's experiences. There are some really dynamic people on here that, I just really enjoy. I enjoy getting to know more about them. I love the dialogue between the content creator and the comments that come along. In fact, the vast majority of my connections have been through people that have reached out to me because I commented either on their content or I commented on the comments of them. In fact, I think Kevin is one that Timothy DeJesus, I think is how you say his name.
Yes.
Had liked one of Kevin's posts, and and I'm quite sure it was Kevin's. He posted something about being tired of COVID, tired of the politics, tired of whatever. Let's just love, show love. And I had been on a bike ride that night, and those were all the thoughts that were going through my mind. And I saw this post and I thought, this is great, how beautifully articulated. So I commented on that. And I think it was the next day Kevin reached out to me as guest. And I'm like, okay, fine. So that's most of my social media experience.
That's awesome. Well, I think that those two platforms are very important in both personal and business related. Of course, Facebook is more personal a lot of times, but it's still used for business. LinkedIn, I have to agree with you, has been one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had with meeting people like you who are like-minded, who have a heart for others, who love business, who are professional minded, educated. And it really, I agree with you. It has been a great experience. So I'm happy to hear that that's one of your social media platforms, that we were able to connect with you, and that you've had a very similar experience and journey as we have here on LinkedIn. So yes, I'm very familiar with Timothy DeJesus. So of course I have to do a shout out to him, because he is part of Bottoms Up Perspective and also has his own live show that he's just started. But really great guy, and there's so many more like him across LinkedIn. And yes, it's a great platform. So
yes,
well,
I've been enjoying watching the Bottoms Up live program on Wednesday evenings. It's been fun. I love watching the engagement and the dynamics between the people that are on there. It's fun.
They are wonderful. I have to agree with you. I'm part of the core group, and we also have a ladies group, which I'll have to bring you into that. But even though I love Zero to Hero, I still have to say the people of Bottoms Up Perspective and the tribe are really wonderful. They're so much fun to engage with them. And some of them we talk to every single day. And so they're behind the scenes, a lot of times you're like, well, they're on a live show, so they probably just act like such and so, but really behind the scenes, they are every bit of what you see on there. So it's wonderful to be a part of the tribe.
That really comes across. It really does. So,
well, we're talking about heroes today. So I believe there's a hero in all of us, even Miss Darlene, ways that we touch people's life. And there's definitely a lot of heroes on LinkedIn, which is kind of why the show was born, just to bring that hope in this time when we're social distancing, to say, hey, everybody has a story and everybody is a hero in their own way. So just finding out how each person have touched different lives, or how they're touched by other people, like what you're talking about. Oh, I went for a bike ride. I had those same thoughts that he did. I'm going to encourage him now, that we're all on the same page. And so I love that. Very, very, very good stuff. So every superhero, speaking of heroes, we all start out at zero on social media. We all start out at zero in life, but we become our hero in our own way. So every superhero has a defining moment. So if we look at the ones created throughout history, for example, Wonder Woman, when she rises up and goes, no one else will do this, so I will. Here we go. And so what is a defining moment for you? What when it comes to like life and career, what's one thing that stands out?
Well, I think that the most impactful and life-changing defining moment for me was back in 1990. My husband and I were young. Life was good. We had two beautiful, fun children. John joined the Army Reserves as an operating room registered nurse because there was an extreme shortage of medical professionals, and they offered this huge sign-on bonus. Well, that was fine, and then all of a sudden, August Desert Shield started. And John's unit, being a medical unit, it was looking like they were going to be mobilized and sent over. So he went to his officer basic training in December, and sure enough, we were notified that his unit was going to be shipped overseas, and we weren't even sure if he was going to be able to come home for Christmas. And he did come home for a few days. And I distinctly remember telling my son, who was 7 at the time, you know, Christmas is going to be different this year. First, we're not sure Dad's going to be here. I don't plan on getting it free, and we probably won't have too many presents. And I remember him saying, Mom, I don't care about any of that. I just want my dad home. And so that was really cool. But then in January, his unit was mobilized. They left on January 4th. And I felt like my world had been turned upside down. All of a sudden, I was a single mom. Our finances were reduced by almost 50%. I had these two children that were just so close to their dad, and just really trying to figure out, how on earth am I going to do life from here? I felt like I said, my world had been turned upside down. And I was just so impacted by the outpouring of love that people showed us, and the gifts and the things that they did. I mean, people invited us over for dinner. My husband's brother came over and did a video of the kids so that we could send it over to John so that he could experience them playing and having fun. And, you know, there were no cell phones back there. There wasn't any way to communicate other than telephone, which back then the cables, you know, wasn't all the great. So every Sunday we would sit by the phone for about 2 hours, not knowing when we would get our 10-minute call, you know. So I think the defining moment for me was realizing that not only is it rewarding to give to other people, but we need to be able to receive it. People want to show love, and they want to reach out to us too. And I was just so overwhelmed and so blessed by all of the things that people did. And some of them they may have thought were just really simple, but to me, they were really important. They were huge.
That's definitely really, that's a great moment. And I'm sure a very difficult one as well. I can't, you know, I have an uncle who's gone overseas. I have a sister who's also with the military, has done some overseas stuff on Navy ships and things like that. But I can't imagine like my own husband, and I'm left with 2 children. So, I mean, just having that community wrap itself around you and say, we are your people, we are your tribe, you're not alone. You can get through this. And I've seen a lot of negative things through COVID situation, but I've also seen a lot of positives. I have seen a lot of people come together and encourage and support one another who normally wouldn't, and neighbors who are there for each other, family who are understanding. And I remember how even just sometimes if I'm having a bad day and someone walked by and gave me this warm, glowing smile, it touched my heart and it changed my day. And they will never know, you know, so it can be something as simple as that to actually encourage people. And it's crazy, but when you're going through a hard time, those simple things can mean so much.
Very true. Very true. Yes.
So,
and I think too, for me, it was an opportunity to find out that, yes, I can do this. I mean, I had to rise to the challenge, and I had to take over a lot of areas that we typically worked on together. And we survived. And life was good. I tried to do fun little things with the kids. I mean, like I said, our finances were reduced so much, but back at that time, there was a McDonald's in our area that had a little playground inside of it. They had a little merry-go-round and some other things. And so our treat, our date out was to go get a 75-cent ice cream cone and let them play on the indoor playground. And, just things like that. It was winter. I took them sledding. I hate winter. I hate the cold. But there was a hill about 3 blocks away that we would just pull their sled and their saucers and go down. And then we came home and had hot chocolate. So, I found out that, yes, I had the strength inside of me. I can do this. It wasn't fun at first. I went through a phase where I just felt completely numb. But trying to find the joy in each day and life and being there and being a rock for my children. And that was very defining. Yes, definitely.
Well, you may feel it's more simple, but for me, I'm like, that's every bit of what a hero is. I mean, if you think about, like, I love you. I seem to use the same ones over and over, but to me, it's so special. Like Aquaman, when he just wants to be a normal guy. He just wants to go with, to the pub with his dad and have a drink, at least in the movie. And so, but then they come seeking him out and going, you've got to do this. You've got to do this. And he's like, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that. And then finally he realizes, if I don't do it, there's no one who will. And not only is it going to destroy the ocean, but it's going to destroy the earth, which is the home of my father. And so he has to get up and find that strength to do something he doesn't want to do. And so that, what you just described is every bit, a superhero to me. I absolutely love it. Just drawing that strength from inside.
And it's funny because I love the intro, the trailer to this, as far as everybody has a superhero inside of us, because I feel like I am the most ordinary person in the world, just very everyday. But like you said, we all have moments or times in our life where we just have to rise up above our circumstances and be that superhero.
I don't see you as ordinary. I think everybody is different in their own way, and some of us might be a little more eccentric. But it's actually usually ordinary means more balanced, so that's good. But yes, that you can find the strength inside to do something that you wouldn't ever think you could do, or that you normally couldn't do, and be able to do it, I think is very big to me. It's very big. And that kind of leads into our next question. So now I'm really curious. So I've kind of described, I guess, what I see as a hero, but what attributes do you feel like, Darlene, defines a hero for you?
For me, being a hero is caring about other people, supporting other people, being involved in my community. I just have such a heart and a passion for people. So for me, it's all about people, building them up, relating to them, helping people to become the best version of themselves that they can be.
That's great. That's awesome. I'm kind of speechless, so I'm gonna use my egg and just cheer you on. I mean, honestly, that really is what it's all about. Like Kevin said, building people is definitely key. Having a heart for others is, I feel, one of the most important thing. I feel love is one of the most important thing on this earth, and love is being kind and patient and not rude, not selfish. Sacrificing yourself for others, I think, is the ultimate love. And sometimes that doesn't mean you have to die. It can mean that you're serving them in a way that takes away from your time or your energy. And, a lot of times when we have our own family, that's hard to do because we're trying to use all of our energy just to keep up with our littles or the people that are in our life around us that we truly care about. But, like Superman, he gave up his love there for a while to go out and sacrifice what he wanted in order to have time to save people. And so I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that's really what it is all about. Thank you. You come on here and just challenge me and educate me, and I can't even think about what to say next. I mean, you've pretty much summed it all up. So Kevin said, too many people focus on the me mentality versus we. When we change our perspective, everything starts to make sense. So when we focus on other people, in the end, it's actually, we're also taking, we are taking care of ourselves, because we're loving, them, we're loving ourselves in order to give to those people. Mm-hmm. So that's really good. Awesome. So if you had to pick a superhero that best relates to you, and I've already mentioned 3 of them. It doesn't even have to be
one of those 3.
It doesn't even have to be one of those 3. It doesn't have to be any of the traditional ones. Who would that be and why?
I knew this question was coming, so I thought about it, and it was really pretty easy for me to decide. It would have to be Batman, because he didn't really have any intrinsic superpowers. He was an everyday kind of person, although he was rich, that used his resources to help his community and others. And he didn't do it alone. So he used his intelligence, he used his creativity to come up with all of these cool things like the Batmobile and the Bat Rope and the Bat Plane and the Bat Boat and all of those things. And he also he worked with other people, he collaborated with other people. So he used the resources that were at his disposal, his martial arts ability, just, to care for people in his community, to keep them safe. And he had that passion. And like I said, he was, to me, more of an everyday kind of person that just was really good at using the resources that were at his disposal.
Yes, absolutely. And even being an everyday kind of person, I think that he was smart. I think he had an intelligence, and maybe also an emotional intelligence to say, I'm not going to let these people that aren't good destroy people that are good. And, I think that's a great pick for you. It's so funny. It's not one I would have thought of, but when you said that, I go, this is going to be interesting. Like, what's she going to pull out of Batman? But I was like, so to me, that actually shows that you have like this really adventurous side. That no one would guess, but it's there. Like, it's like this deep inner adventure, that wants to come out and put yourself out there and sacrifice yourself for others. It's like, I'll do whatever I can and I'll use whatever I have if it helps somebody. Mm-hmm. And all right, well, that's a wrap. That's the show. That was amazing. No, I'm just teasing. But yeah, that is oh my goodness. I think you've definitely blown me away with your answers today, because my mind wants to keep thinking about them. And then I'm like, no, you're trying to lead a show here. You can't think too much.
I love that though, because I really wasn't sure what to expect.
Yes.
And I think I had been connected with Kevin maybe 2 weeks when he sent me this message saying, hey, I see you work with Humanities at the Y. How would you like to join our show? And I had no clue what the show was or what it was about. So I'm like, give me more information. So then I watched a few of the shows and I'm like, okay, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. Yes, I think I can do this. I think I have something to offer.
You do. You have so much to offer. I have really enjoyed this absolutely thoroughly. I want to stop here and welcome Chris Thomas and Tanya and Mr. Is it Siddharth? Very nice to have you here on the show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. So I have Miss Darlene here, and she's been sharing her defining moments and her superhero lookalike, and has definitely blown me away today with her depth of answers. Sometimes the simple things actually have the most impact. A simple statement can make someone think so deeply. A simple person can sometimes hold so much depth. And so I mean, I'm just, yeah, I love it. I love it. So Batman. Sorry, I can't end the show like that. That would be, yeah, that would be really cool. And you're wearing your black today. So I was like, oh, Batman. Yeah. Anyway, well, Darlene, thank you so much. I really want to connect more people with you. I think you have a lot to add to this platform here on LinkedIn. And of course, we are broadcasting, I believe, on YouTube or Facebook as well. So how can people connect with you here on LinkedIn?
Well, they can do a search on my name and request to get connected with me. My profile and everything's out there, and I'd be happy to have more connections. Like I said, I've just really benefited a lot from the people on here and the content and the dialogue. I really, really enjoy that. So I would love to grow with other people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you heard that, guys. Look up Darlene
Pawelkiewicz.
Pawelkiewicz. Oh my goodness, I almost had it too.
The first
Darlene Pawelkiewicz.
I'll make it easy for you. The first 3 letters spell paw. The second 3 letters spell elk.
Elk.
Yep, paw, elk. And then it's just IEWICZ. But I have a feeling if you just bring up paw and elk, you'll probably get my name. There aren't many of us out there.
So you will never forget this. It is Darlene P-A-W, paw. Okay, if you put that in LinkedIn, it'll come. No, I'm just joking. Paul Elk. Put in paw, elk. She'll come right up, and then you guys please connect with her. She is amazing. You're going to want to get to know her. You're going to want to meet her, and we're definitely going to pull her into our tribe and community as well, and support her here on LinkedIn. So that wraps up our episode 7. Guys, thank you so much for being with us today. We have loved having each and every one of you. Darlene, it's been wonderful to get to know you. And if you could just stay on when we get off here, I would love to chat with you as well and get to know you a little more. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, LinkedIn. You guys are awesome. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Facebook. See you all later.
Bye.